Welcome, everybody, to another stellar Sunday with Cosmos Cooperative. And I'm so happy that you can be here today. I'm going to be filling in as MC. Our regular Ellie is not feeling well today, so I'll do my best. And we have a great show for you today. For those of you new to Cosmos, I'm going to read you our mission statement, which Roger and Ellie and I were working on a couple of weeks ago, and we fine-tuned it, wordsmithed it. So Cosmos Co-op is a member-owned publishing platform and creative community whose mission is to connect, educate, and inspire in service to the goodness, truth, and beauty of the world. All right, that's like high level. But concretely, through multimedia projects, live events like this one, integral learning, and mutual exchange, we support artists in the process of developing, producing, and promoting their life's work. And that's, I think, the key part of it, is that we're working with artists who have a passion, have a sense of purpose, have something they really want to give to others, to the world. And tonight is going to be an example of that, beginning with our first performer, Sreedevi Bringi. And in a few minutes, perhaps her daughter, SHEELA, will be here supporting her. I'll just say kind of who's going to be performing. After Sreedevi, NOVAK will be doing guitar with kind of improvisational ambient guitar music. And then I'm going to end the performance tonight with a poem that comes from a book called I Am the Singularity. It's a book whose title poem is the same. And in other words, the poem is called I Am the Singularity, and the book is called I Am the Singularity. And it has many parts to it. In November, I shared the first part of it, and today I'm going to share the second part. But I'll talk a little bit more about that later. You all should have gotten these little slips here, so you can learn more about Cosmos at our website. And if this is something you want to support, we have a membership program. You can become a supporting member. If you're a creative and you want a community of fellow creatives to collaborate with, to share ideas, to develop your work, to help kind of promote you and elevate you, we're here for that purpose. And we're also looking to really become a sustainable enterprise. So through publishing books, through publishing music, through doing events like this, and through other means yet to be developed, we really want to support a community of artists. So thank you for being here and supporting us. And without further ado, I'm going to invite Sreedevi up to grace us with her poetry and her music.
Honoring Marco for his 50th birthday, so let's all give him a So I'm going to take you back to 8th century in India. And the theme of love that we started last month continues now, because it's a great love offering to Marco from all of us. So the greatest love pair from India, mythologically, are Lord Krishna and Radha. I'm wearing the pink veil for Radha. Radha, who is all of us. We who are the devotees of the divine, that is Radha. Mythologically and poetically, she is part of a beautiful 8th century series of poems. Yeah. Come on, SHEELA and Eldon. There are 2 seats, and SHEELA here. Okay. All right. So the next generation arrives. I took you to 8th century, but this is just 40 years ago. Our family back in India was, for 2 generations, we have done music. Music, music, and music. So both my children were born into music. And when I was pregnant with my son 45 years ago and his late father would be sitting next to me, accompanying me on his Indian drum, and I would sing, this little baby inside would kick. And he would kick if, in rhythm to what we were doing, he would kick. He was, 6 months in the womb. And then little SHEELA, when her turn came, it's this beautiful, this plaintive melodies that she would just hear. And I bought her a toy flute when she was 5, 6 years old. She plays on the toy flute what she could hear, the Indian songs we were singing around her. So her talent was obvious since she was 4 or 4.5. And I thought, my God, what all do we have to do to help her fulfill her potential? And by high school, she was studying 5 kinds of music. And so SHEELA Bringi with me, but I'm going to still begin with the poem first, and then we'll go to the beat. So, back to 8th century, Radha and Krishna, the lover and beloved. We are the Radha, Krishna, the ultimate divine. So, he wears a peacock feather, his skin is blue, he plays the flute. He was but he was raised by a cowherd community. And for Radha, her friends are the milkmaids who dance with her in the meadows with their tinkling anklets and the cows with their tinkling bells. Very pastoral scene. And so in this poem that I started writing in 2020, and then I dedicated to my late ex-husband, Vishu Bringi, who passed away just 2 months ago. And so when I would read this aloud to him, he would say, read me your Radha poem. And then when I would read aloud, he would get tears in his eyes. And so it's called Radha, She Waits. I feel like Radha sometimes, alone, and waiting for her Lord Krishna. In the empty, scented forest grove near Vrindavan, the village of the cowherds and the milkmaids, home of the gopis, the milkmaids, these dancing milkmaids and the singing cowherds. Radha, she waits. Jai Radha, Jai Radha, Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Radha. What is she waiting for? What is she waiting for? What are we waiting for? What she is waiting for is right within her own blissful self. Radha, just you wait. There is so much to learn while waiting, so much to love while waiting, and to have companions along the way. Oh, my Sakhis, she calls out to her friends. Close girlfriends in Hindi are called Sakhis. Oh, my Sakhis, come dance with me while I wait for the Lord. Playful milkmaids for Radha to share her journey with while she waits for her Lord to return. While she teaches what she knows, while she cares about the young ones who want to learn and grow. And as she learns from life, her longing only grows, her longing to meet her beloved Krishna. Radha, she waits in the scented forest bower, waits with longing for her Lord to return. Radha, she knows, while her longing only grows. While her longing only grows. Oh Radha, oh Radha, oh Radha, oh Radha. Now from the 8th century, we come to the 15th century, to this famous singing poet and wandering saint of India, Mirabai. She who in northwest in the desert lands of India, she who fell in love with Lord Krishna through the poetry and the mythology and the Hindu religious epics. So there's Mira now, the woman Mira, who thinks of herself as Radha. Mira says, singing and dancing in bliss, with her dotara gourd held high, darshan with her Lord who wears the peacock feather. Mira ke Prabhu, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर. Darshan with her lord who wears the peacock feather. Oh, Meera ke Prabhu, Lord of Meera. I am dancing, Meera says, singing and dancing in search of my beloved. My feet are stepping to the beat and rhythm of my heart. My heart is pulsing with longing, the longing to know you, to love you, and to be with you always. Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar, Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar, Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar. Oh, cosmic Lord, peacock feather, rustling in your black ringlets of hair. Oh, bewitching Krishna, you who ensnare all my girlfriends, the gopis. I dance and sing before you, O Lord. I offer you my whole heart full of love. It is I, your forgotten Meera, your forgotten Radha. Radha has come back through me, O Lord. I am Meera, who has left my husband, who has left the royalty, and I am wandering in the villages searching for you, my Lord. I am Radha, your forgotten beloved. Radha, whom you left in the village of the sacred cows and cowherds, and you never went back to her. You never went back to her, Krishna. You never went back to her. She was waiting. She was waiting. I am dancing with bare feet and open, loving heart, Meera says. My hips are swaying and my arms are swinging. As I step around in moving circles, my long skirt is whirling and swirling. My pink veil is wildly blowing as I dance around the imprint of your sweet presence, your sacred presence, your loving presence. Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar, Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar. Dancing at the forest edge, long after you vanished from our lover's enchanted bower, with trailing torn vines and bruised scented flowers. I'm still dancing here, while my silver anklet bells are tinkling, still waiting for you, my beloved, still waiting for you long after you vanished. With the glitter of peacock feathers in your lush black hair, you vanished into the inky black depths of the deep night sky. Meera sighs in sorrow and longing. I dance now in your invisible presence, in your expanding, loving presence. Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar, Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar. I dance with the song on my lips and the swelling of my chest. I strum my resonant gorn and I sing your glories. I tell our intimate stories, our stories of love and longing, while my strings on my drone twang and drone in harmony, along with my broken heartstrings, Meera says. I pour out my loving longing to you in song and dance, my feet furiously stepping and swirling, my skirt whirling and my pink veil swirling, my anklets and banklets tinkling in the pulsing rhythm of my soul. Oh, Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar, Meera ke Prabhu, Giridhar Nagar. In longing, in waiting, in welcoming, and in love, there is so much to learn. While waiting, in longing, Meera says, there is so much to learn in waiting. Thank you. We go back to the 8th century again, the story of Radha and Krishna. And this is where the East India Company, the British, first landed and wanted to buy tea from India in Bengal. So this is a Bengali folk song that comes out of these stories of Radha and Krishna. And so in this, they've had their time in the scented forest bower. He's still playing with Radha. But the moment of when they first met is important. The pride that Radha has and the nonchalant macho spirit that Krishna has. It's like they have noticed each other in the village. And the Yamuna River is full. The monsoons are full. The river is partly flooding. And Radha and her milkmaid friends are waiting on the bank to cross over on a wooden bridge that had become flooded. And they have pots and pots of milk, of yogurt, that have to go to the other side so they can go to the market and sell them. So while they're sighing and longing and wondering what to do, well, Krishna, handsome Krishna, comes on his boat with all his friends, all his male friends, who are the cowherds. So they want to tease these girls a little bit on the bank. And so Radha looks at him, sees how handsome he is. You are very good looking, but not your boat. Your boat has a hole in it. How am I supposed to step in with my pots of dahi, pots of yogurt? I'll get dirty, I'll get all wet. And Krishna, highly amused, looks at her, sees the pride. He waits some more, but she's still arrogant, bristling. So on he goes, the boats go on. And she lost her chance at that moment to cross over to the other side of the bank of duality, to cross that raging river of samsara. This is the cycle of life, birth, karma, death. She lost her chance in that moment. So kanhai, the word kanhai, which you're going to hear a lot, is a shall we say, a colloquial term for Krishna in Bengal. So you're in the forest, and then there is the Yamuna raging river. There is Radha in her pink veil and her pots of yogurt, and Krishna and his boats. Oh, Kanhai! Kanhai ho, Kanhai par korte amare, aaj ki mathurar bikhi dan koribo tomare. Kanhai ho, Kanhai par korte amare, aaj ki mathurar bikhi dan koribo tomare. Tumi to sundar Kanhai tumar banganai. Tumi to sundar Kanhai tumar banganai. Kotai rakpodai poshure. O Kanhai, kotai rakpodai poshure. Kotai rakpopar Kanhai ho. Kanhai par korte amare. Aaj sera turar bikhi dan koribo tomare. Kanhai ho, Kanhai par korte amare. Aaj ki mathurar bikhi dan koribo tomare. Jai Guru, Jai Kali, Jai Guru, Jai Kali, Jai Guru, Jai Kali. Dheere 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 chal, dheere 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 chal, dheere 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 chal, dheere 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 chal. Tumi to sundar Kanhai tumar banganai. Tumi to sundar Kanhai tumar banganai. Kotai rakpodai poshure. O Kanhai, kotai rakpodai poshure, kotai rakpopar Kanhai ho. Kanhai par korte amare, aaj ki mathurar bikhi dan koribo tomare. Dan koribo tomare. Dan koribo tomare. Everyone, Jai Guru, Jai Kali, 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 Jai Guru, Jai Kali. Oh Kanhai, oh Kanhai, oh Kanhai. Kanhai ho, Hainline falcon te amare, aji ke matura biki dan koriboto mahare. Ancoriboto madre, Ancoriboto madre. Thank you, Sheila.
I just want to say how honored I feel for all of you to be here and for the performers to share their gifts in this context. I didn't say it, but it is my 50th birthday. Or technically it'll be in a couple days, but it's today, and it's a big milestone for me. And maybe I'll say a little more about kind of this convergence of things that are coming together. But one of them, I'll say, is the birth of this cooperative. We had a launch event in November in which SHEELA performed, and her partner Aldo, who's also here. Ben Williams performed. A few other people performed. I also performed. And since that time, we've done the work to get our legal work done. Like, all right, this is maybe boring, but it's actually kind of exciting for me. And I think for our community to have an actual constitution that defines what our organization is, how it works, how it's governed. It's really, I believe, the birth of something. It's like the start of something that has, I think, the vision and has the energy and has the thought and the care put into it to get across this river that Sri was talking about, or at least get kind of into the river, and maybe ride the river for a while. So we're going to be publishing that constitution on Tuesday, and there's some interesting stuff in it. I'll say it's not just a boring legal document. There's a vision statement. There's a mission statement. There's, I think, an innovative organizational structure and way of bringing a democratic spirit into the arts. And as we know, democracy is under assault in our wider society. So if we're going to have it, I believe we have to create it ourselves. And we have to start with where we are and who we are, the people around us. And this is an attempt to do so. It's an attempt to create a creative democracy whose purpose is to promote a vision of how the world could exist in harmony. How we could exist in harmony with each other, harmony with nature, harmony with the heavens, the gods, God, Spirit, the Tao. And so that's all I'll say for now. Looks like Tim is ready. But yeah, thank you. And let's hear from Tim Novak. Let's give a round of applause.
Hi, everybody. Wow, I can't see anybody from up here. It's so dark out there. Oh, I'm C. I go by C. I'm a proud co-founder of Cosmos Co-op. Give it up for Cosmos. Yeah. I am so excited to be here. I've known Marco since around 2017. We met in community in the Denver area around co-ops. I was a community organizer focused on cooperative business, so that is how we ended up crossing paths. And I was able to contribute to the development of the concept of Cosmos and contribute some founding documentation and have a lot of really long, rambling, ranging conversations with Marco, as I hope all of you here have had a chance to experience. I'm so excited because as long as I've known him, Marco has been writing this poem. I am the singularity. So I'm really excited to see what happens tonight. I didn't say a word about fractal praxis. I'm vamping. Can I continue? Sorry. I was talking about you and about our backstory. Yeah, I was talking you up. Yes, so nowadays I am more focused on my own thought work, which is called Fractal Praxis, fractalpraxis.com. Please type it into your devices as soon as you get a chance. I have no business cards or anything like that, but I've been working on it for the last 3 years. It is about how everything kind of fits together in the world. And when I was working on Cosmos, I got to really do a lot of thinking about how community could come together in these super holistic ways. So I was proud to have contributed to that work. I'm really excited to read the Constitution. And please check out Fractal Praxis. I basically am a community priestess. I do events, I do coaching, and I help people organize for their higher good. So feel free to reach out. And Marco V. Morelli is a renowned poet who has influenced so many and created space, created community on behalf of all of our higher good. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage Marco V. Morelli.
I'm turning 50 on Tuesday. I've been working on this book for the last 14 years and this poem for like 11 years. There's other poems in there too from a little earlier. And this is the first time I printed it out and got it like spiral bound. There's one little piece missing, which maybe I'll write the next, whenever. But it's been a huge undertaking. It took a lot longer than I thought. I thought it would be like, I'll get it done in a year or two, right? 10, 11 years, a decade later. And in November, this past year, so it's multiple parts. Like there's 3 acts in the poem, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and an intermezzo, which is the part I haven't written. And in November, I performed Act 1. And so I'm sort of planning this out. I want to like do this, share a piece, maybe every 3 months until it's all out. Because it really all is of a piece. It's like a cosmic mandala. It all like hangs together. It all makes sense in relation. It's like a concept. It's like, like The Who's Tommy or Pink Floyd's The Wall or something. Like it all is, you have to take the whole thing in ultimately. At least that's what I want. So today, on that mic, I'm going to do part 2, Act 2. So it's called Patient on a Table. And the first scene of that is called the Primal Scene. And this year, if anybody becomes a member of Cosmos, I will print out a copy of this and give it to you. I'm going to do 50 only. And you can become a member or $50, and I'll print one of these out and give it to you. And maybe it'll be a collector's item one day. Who knows? I'd like to have some audience participation in this. So at the end of Act 1, there's a howl. And if you were here in November, you would have howled with me. And the howl is significant for literary reasons because I see this poem as like a call and response, right? Allen Ginsberg, the poet, who used to live in Colorado, used to teach at Naropa, wrote a famous poem called Howl. And it was one of the poems that was formative for me as I was growing up and discovering my calling as a poet. And I got it into my head. I wanted to write like a long poem, like Howl. So at the end of the last thing, after a whole build-up, I say, this is my howl. And it's like, if you hear a howl, you hear another howl. Like one wolf howls, ow, and another wolf howls, ow. And during the pandemic, we were doing the same thing in my neighborhood and maybe in yours. At 8 o'clock at night, we'd go outside, and my daughter Beatrice and I would do this together, and people would be howling to each other. And it was like a way to, I think, bridge the gap, bridge the distance between us. And on another level, that's, I think, what this poem is attempting to do. So, one, will you howl with me? I'll howl, and you howl. Okay? Ready? Okay. Ow! We're going to do two more. All right? Ow! Ow! Okay. Now, this next part, the very end of it, there's 3 lines where I say, Om. I say, Om is our home. And I would like it for the recording and for the community if you'll like kind of do a background Om for me. All right. So like you'll hear it and then you just start Oming. I'll do 3 of them and then you'll have one more verse and that ends the poem. Let's practice. The best minds of my generation woke up in a world of pain, born to suffer, hurled into being, too late for sunny revolutions, blithe endings, or summers of love. Occult sparks buried spinning in recombinant seeds, flesh tossed indiscriminate with the bathwater of mental institutions gutted to wash out the stains of improbable histories, whose greatness scattered on the manufactured wind of a massive, mutant, multi-level, attention-mongering pyramid scheme with the mystic eye of predatory sexual desire staring at us everywhere in the most sacred spaces all this time, from the apices of political righteousness in a frame of purely self-referential fame and success. We came trailing fumes of glory, straddling beams of failing light. Freak comets reappeared, searing the firmament, embezzled with alien fuels and rare minerals, there for the taking, night after night. Irresistible the snatch of salvation, imperceivable the surveillance of the seer, relentless and random like missiles, blown, omnidimensional, in black blossoms and infrared blooms. Fake meteors paint news from the hereafter, own the cathedral of the sky. Oh, come near to hear our cries of excitation, our surpassing reappropriation of the same old ground by the ashen waves. The ancient gamble satisfied. Starry-eyed babes we were, goddesses and gods in human breasts, essential existences trapped in codependent mazes, bouncing off insides of finite curved surfaces, groping away through blind circumstances, in rainbow bodies imprisoned along arcs bending towards blank purposes with entangled intents, turning this way and that, luring this one or that as furry objects of study, freshly plucked from our broods, indebted intelligences to implacable goods and services chained, forsaken, and sold down the grid in pragmatic bouquets, replicating impregnable fortresses. Our hearts, re-engineered, prefigured, and deployed upon the bloodless fields, bold as ice, sympathetically connected in despairing array. Flowers were empowered then, as networks of the dawn, brimmed with jubilance in great expectation, and buzzed bees did a little dance, reporting our coordinates to the heavy hives of our mother's land and father's country. And wanton birds of morning crashed parties in the trees, and the chanting of cicadas rippled the shock waves through the humble heat of lowly afternoons in fractal branches forming canopies of organic thunder, and bearing tongues of catalytic fire. We lit camp on the beach to be among the peerless offerings that limn the elder sphere, and free our feral vows, and drink the mysteries of songs on spiritual wings, soaring over the horizon of a delusion or a dream. And we quavered on the sand of universes and conjuncted the primordial equations, linking soul with soul and earth with space, and animal with angel. All the treasures one could ever wish for in our biochemistry. Writhing trains of bliss we followed to their logical conclusions, and we flowed into the channels of our choosing, never again to lose that deeper sense of awe that spills the jewels of well-made music, nor let the secret form of things escape our final tending. For the guru grew among us, and the world itself was our paradise. It was a grand adventure to be alive and make matter with our minds, and without pretense to pretend that our best efforts would work wonders and slay the trouble, even as our world was ending. Sublimely measured in their pace the revolutions and gyrations of warm bodies on the exoplanetary plane, subtlest sources of influence on earthly matters and the ripeness of cycles, rivers underground in realms unfazed, accelerate, delivering the damned wake of centuries in wails of creation to radical receptors in the center of crack skulls, eternally exalted on the shores of the supramental, under the sacrificial surface of our mutual disaster. A nocturne of veins glows gold and crimson, the ramifying fingers of deepest design, as the vine twisted round one's ankle, or sapient color snaking under the brush. We reached out for an endgame to our paradox in glyph circuits scripted cursively by the glistening cargo of the snail, where quantum crickets croon their moonlit vigil. And the architects of the enduring abyss were nearly amazed. For innocent reason lay on a limb with the line of consequence again. We materialized in a handful of glimmering dust, gave ourselves utterly away to less fortunate and needier space. Time evolved on our side. Culture justified our cause. We had myriad mindful machines and miracle molecules to rely on. Little did we know, or little care. Caveat lector and buyer beware. We might rhyme with the right side of history, but we broke on the woke side of time. Whole industries devoted to the reproduction of supernormal awareness, imperiled by the promulgating chasm of a sucking sound. Too big to fear behind a mask, or feign before a veil, torn asunder by the pillage of our hopes and the scale of our plunder. We contained multitudes, yet none could say what became of the souls who burned in vain before their day was done. Their lost languages of prayer, an air we could breathe, and pristine waters to swim in, and curious critters crawling in crevices and cracks, through surly soil burrowing beneath bare feet. We dared not speak their names, nor face other fundamental questions. Who really knew anyway whether a new consciousness was being born, or the guardians of the multiverse were merely mining for more non-renewable resources from our unconscious soup? Who claimed the darkest hour before the dawn? Who danced in their bleak underpants to crackling melodies in phonographic memories, turning the tables on a turntable? And who could argue with that? And so, to get along, we went along and swayed, and the microwave background radiation hummed, and mountains nodded in agreement. For everybody knows one thing that seems, and one thing that shines within all things, one lurking in the bowels of every happening, through boundless annals of forgetting and remembering, unborn and undying, directly perceived by illumined identity, undercover on the salt scent intimating another sentient creature who counts in the balance, knows what they felt and what they saw when the lights went out, when limbs gave out, when flames of lustrous fury refined the sordid ore. One wonders, and one falls into the arms of the beloved beyond blessed, falling far, far away. For everybody knows the one thing that saves, and how just one thing swallows the boon. And we cry, home is our home. Home is our home. Home is our home. Until the cows came home, and the seas and purple churned, and the evening orbs blazed against the tides, never ending. And we signified our lives to civilize the beast who comes in our sleep of ages. Thank you.
It's a happy birthday, and may you have many more, many more. Show them how on your birthday, your birthday, your birthday. Show them how on your birthday. You still look as good as new. It's a happy birthday, and may you live to be 103. It's a happy birthday, and may you have many more, many more.
Well, that's all, folks.